do jumping jacks hurt your knees, or maybe your ankles, or maybe your lower back, maybe your hips? Well, if they do, there's a reason why. It's because this is a high impact movement that most people can't do with good form. So not only am I gonna show you exactly why this is hurting your joints and how to fix it so you can eventually be able to do jumping jacks, but also I'm gonna show you a simple variation that you can practice with to make sure your joints are in good alignment. All right, so let's walk over here to my friend Skelly, and Skelly will tell us why these jumping jacks are actually hurting our hips, knees, and ankles. Now, when people do jumping jacks, oftentimes what you'll notice is this. Their leg goes out, they land on their foot, and what should happen is this. Their hips should externally rotate, and their knees should bend slightly in alignment with their toes, and then as they jump, it should extend and their toes should extend. But what actually happens is this. They jump out, their toes are pointing down, they land, their hip internally rotates, and their knee bends forward. Now look at this knee joint right here. Does that look like that knee joint stacked properly? No, 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 no. That's a knee joint that's going to hurt very badly. It's also going to probably cause pain to the ankle, and again, possibly pain to the hip or the lower back. Again, what we want is this. When we land, the knee goes the same direction as the toes, and the hip externally rotates and stays open, okay? So let me put this into practice and show you what I mean in a position. Most people, when they land like this, are gonna drop their knees in like this. And it might be subtle too. It's probably hard to see for a lot of people. It's probably like, boom, like that, and then they're back into the starting position. If that's you and your knees are rotating in, you're putting a lot of pressure on your knees that could cause a lot of pain. What we want in the jumping jack is this. We wanna land, and you see how my knees are pointed out instead of in? My toes are pointed out instead of in? That's where we wanna land. And it doesn't have to be super far out. I'm over exaggerating this so you can see the difference between people going like this and people going like this, right? Not a very big difference with the toes, but a huge difference with the hips opening versus the hips closing, right? So how do we practice this? Well, instead of doing high impact movements like the jumping jack, we do something a lot more low impact like the step jack. So what that looks like is this. You're gonna bring your feet together, hands by your sides, nice tall posture the entire time. Now, as you step out, bring your arms overhead, but I want you to think of something really powerful here. Don't just step out like this and end up in the same position as when you jump. That's the bad movement that's hurting your knees. When you step out, I want you to think about rotating this foot outward. It doesn't have to go far. I'm over exaggerating this to make sure you understand the movement. As I step out, that pushes outward. What does this do? Brings me into the open hip position where my knees are going the same direction as the toes. So I'll go slow and controlled, try again. So push out with the toe, land like this, and as you come back together, bring your feet back together. Now push out with that toe, land like this. As you bring your feet together, put them back together. Now this doesn't necessarily mean on every rep you have to turn your toes outward. Again, I'm over exaggerating this to help teach better movement, because when we do this 1,000 times, well, then we have to do this 1,000 times to make it second nature, to make it how you naturally move your body, all right? So that means we have to apply a little bit of effort and a little bit of focus and mindfulness around our movement. Now over time, what you can do is this. The feet will be straight and you'll go a little faster, and on every rep, you'll be doing it where your knees are going the same direction as your toes in good alignment, instead of like this, caving in, okay? And then we can go a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And once we're able to do step jacks, where we're doing them with good form, our knees are going the same direction as our toes, we have good alignment, then we can start practicing slow jumping jacks and back, and slow jumping jacks and back. And if you need to, you can look down at your toes on every single rep and make sure your knees are going the same direction as your toes. Now, if you follow this process, focus on the external rotation of your hip, focus on the feet turning outward as you do these movements, and practice this movement with the step jack, slow and controlled. You'll eventually be able to work your way up to doing jumping jacks in a way that's pain-free and actually builds and strengthens your body rather than harms it. So if you've been doing jumping jacks, stop doing them if they hurt your body, and do step jacks instead, and pay close attention to your form, because when you move your body better, you feel better in your body.